Perhaps the first speed bump in the Greg McMacken era of UH football, but it might not be as bad as initially thought. It was reported today by a couple of local media outlets that quarterback Tyler Graunke, the heir apparent to Colt Brennan, had been suspended indefinitely from the team for violating undisclosed team rules, and that the senior-to-be would not participate in Hawaii's off-season workout program. Graunke told KHON2 tonight, though, that while he is taking some time off from football to clean up some academic issues, the word suspension never came up in his discussions with Coach McMacken, and that he expects to have everything taken care of, maybe as soon as next week, and hopes to return to the team workouts immediately after that. How you doing, everybody? Let's talk sports. Meanwhile, the program's welcoming 22 new players, all with their letters of intent signed, sealed, and delivered. Not bad, considering McMacken and his staff had roughly 3 weeks to put their first recruiting class together, a class that features 9 players from the state of Hawaii, 2 super-sized quarterbacks, and most importantly, according to Mack, speed.
We really wanted to hit Hawaii and get the best players in the state of Hawaii, and we felt that we got a good majority of them.
McMacken, a primarily defensive-minded coach, looked to beef up the Warriors' front line. Did so with Damian D lineman Haku Correa and St. Louis D tackle Jordan Hanohano.
I'm excited about Jordan again. He's a big defensive lineman from a great program. You know, for a high school kid, he plays like a college guy. He hits like a college player.
Hawaii lured 3 of the state's top linebackers as well. Lelehua's Art Laurel and Kahuku Boys' Pai Falimalu and Alema Tachibana. Of that group, Mack says Falimalu might be the most game ready.
This guy is somebody that's going to play immediately for us. You can see he's got speed. He's just an outstanding football player. You know, I'm really excited about him.
Damien's Christian Vasconcelos and McKinley's Irvin Sione are a couple of skill position players Mack has high hopes for. While on the O-line, McMacken says the Warriors got a couple of studs. Kainoa LaCounts, a Kailua guy, transferring back in from junior college. Then there's Tui Asasopo, whose father Ana is a former UH player. Mack's excited to have him and excited to pronounce his name right.
Tui Asasopo, and you like that? I'm getting into these names pretty good, huh? Yeah, that's pretty good. Stanford recruited him, Washington. He's got great family heritage, but he's going to help us right away also.
And it didn't stop there for the coaching staff. UH also pulled in a couple of pro-sized junior college quarterbacks and a bruising running back in Alaska native Jake Hune. As for the QBs, though, Greg Alexander holds the 2-year junior college record for touchdown passes with 71. Brent Roush was the player of the year in his conference. Mack says the competition will be wide open.
You know, we're going to play the best player and the guy that picks it up and the guy that throws the ball to the receivers.
Aside from the quarterback spot, Hawaii lost all 4 starting receivers from last season. The cavalry comes in the form of 5 JUCO pass catchers, all from California, and all with highlight-heavy game film.
I'm proud of these receivers because they had to be found. A lot of people wouldn't have gone to where our guys went to Santa Rosa, to College of the Desert. You know, a lot of recruiters stay around the lights, you know, of the big cities. And these guys, some of them are off in the boondocks, but they're great players.
Lastly, 5 incoming defensive backs from the continent. All these guys have cornerback experience and measurements.
We probably won't recruit safeties anymore because we want corners. If they get bigger, we want them to move to safety. When the safeties get bigger, we're going to move them to linebacker. When the linebackers get bigger or grow, we're going to move them to defensive end. And if they get bigger, we'll move them to tackle. So we always want to have speed on the field.
Many of these recruits credit McMacken's personal touch with swaying their decision to come to UH. Mack credits his assistants, but says that kind of hands-on approach, going to homes, going to schools, is what it'll take to be successful.
I want to be in every home of every guy that we offer and talk to their family because basically I'm going to be their father for the rest of their career here at the University of Hawaii. And that's what I'm planning on doing, and that means a lot to those guys because we're going to be together. And our staff is going to be together.
Spring drills for the Warriors opens March 31st.
Finding speed was the goal, and UH football coach Greg McMacken says this year's recruiting class is just that fast. So was the process in getting these future Warriors to commit. Looking at the paperwork, Greg McMacken says securing his first commitments for the Warrior football team was a matter of blitz recruiting.
85–90% of everybody on here is for the last 3 weeks.
McMacken made it a priority to keep island players. 9 of his 21 signees are from the state of Hawaii. The new head coach made personal home visits to convince them, offering his loyalty for theirs.
I can honestly say I'm going to be with them for the rest of their career here at the University of Hawaii, and that's what I'm planning on doing, and that means a lot to those guys because we're going to be together.
Coach Mack shared the film on his future Warriors. Receivers were a main target in UH's search for talent since it will have all new starters in that position this year.
We really emphasized speed. You know, we signed 5 JC receivers who are all 4.4 and below. They're all returners also, so it's going to help our special teams.
While Tyler Graunke returns to take over where Colt Brennan left off, McMacken says no position is guaranteed. By bringing in 2 of the top junior college quarterbacks in the country, the plan is to play them sooner rather than later. He says Brent Rosh reminds him a lot of Brennan, mobile and accurate. Greg Alexander threw for over 3,800 yards and 43 touchdowns last year. Defensively, he was just as concerned at finding defensive backs, picking up 7 more. McMacken says DBs are the foundation of Hawaii's defense.
Because we want corners, if they get bigger, we want them to move to safety. When the safeties get bigger, we're going to move them to linebacker. When the linebackers get bigger or grow, we're going to move them to defensive end. And if they get bigger, we'll move them to tackle.
Earlier in the day, Coach Mack was at Kapolei High School for Pro Bowl practice. McMacken said he saw a lot of familiar faces and just stopped in to say hello.
There's a lot of coaches that I've coached with, part of the Green Bay staff, Winston Moss and Tyrone Knott, and just seeing some old friends. And then Julian Peterson and Ray Lewis both played for me, so it's sort of fun to see those guys a little bit.
His pal Lewis is making his 9th Pro Bowl appearance. The Raven star was coached by Mack at the University of Miami in the 90s. The two remain good friends.
Greg McMacken is one of probably the greatest men I've ever met in my life. He's probably one of the purest men I've ever met in my life. I love that guy to death with no remorse. He's one of the greatest people ever. Congratulations on that, definitely.
The letters have been counted, and after 3 weeks of speed recruiting, the University of Hawaii football team will have 22 new players this coming year. Sports Director Jason Tang joins us now with the live local late-breaking details.
Steph, of the 22 athletes, 8 of them come from our local high schools. 11 of them will transfer from junior colleges on the mainland. And the other 3 signed on from Florida, Utah, and Alaska. Head coach Greg McMacken says the program's primary focus this year was to fill some empty shoes left by the Big 5. Colt, Devon, Ryan, Jason, and CJ. And Coach Mack feels they've got guys who will compete for starting roles, especially at quarterback.
It's completely wide open. Both quarterbacks know about each other. Our quarterbacks know about these guys, obviously. They know about our quarterbacks. So, you know, that's a good thing about being new into a system, and Rolo doesn't care. You know, we're going to play the best player and the guy that picks it up and the guy that throws the ball to the receivers. And that goes with everything, really, every position.
And breaking things down by position, the Warriors brought in 2 new quarterbacks, 6 wide receivers, 11 defensive players, 2 offensive linemen, and 1 running back. Not too shabby for only 3 weekends of recruiting.